Howdy, howdy, y'all. It is another Maharaj episode, uh, chapter, whatever you may call it. Chapter 65. A quiet mind is all you need. So, this is just one of the common themes. This chapter really emphasizes one of the most common themes of this whole book, and which is really introspective and looking within and awareness of one's self beyond, like, pretty much essentially taking away all these, how do I say it, taking away all this, just the nonsense, taking away all the noise, and just, as he says, people call it pure consciousness, or yeah, it's it's a state beyond consciousness, which is not unconscious. Some call it super consciousness or pure consciousness or supreme consciousness. It is supreme awareness free from the subject object nexus. So free from just, you know, this is a ball, that's a thing, this is another thing, where, free from that sort of these distinctions. It's a very pure, yeah, it's just in form of consciousness. It's very hard to describe. It really is. And even in terms of experiencing it, can be very surreal. It's a very surreal experience. One of the, so, at one point the questioner asks, "It is all very tempting, but how am I to proceed to realize my universal being?" Because this is one of the common themes, is the I versus the universal being. The idea of this body, you as the human body, and then versus you as in all of the cosmos, all of the universe. And Maharaj responds to this by saying, you have two ways. You can give your heart and mind to self-discovery, or you accept my words on trust and act accordingly. In other words, either you become totally self-concerned or totally unself-concerned. It is the word totally that is important. You must be extreme to reach the supreme. I also like that rhyme. It's a very good rhyme, but yes. And you must be extreme to reach the supreme. In other words, you can't, whatever you pursue, whatever route you're going through with this whole spiritual enterprise, you can't, you gotta, put your whole heart and soul into it. And that's just life in general, mind you. I think that's life in general. Whatever you do in life, you gotta dedicate your whole being into it. Especially if you want to get the most out of that life. I apologize for the lighting and all that, but it is what it is. I'm outside. You can only do so much. So, another point that the questioner makes: to know perfectly, I need a perfect mind. This is the point at one point the questioner makes. I like how Maharaj responds to this. A quiet mind is all you need. All else is happened rightly. Once your mind is quiet, as the sun on rising makes the world active, so does self-awareness affect changes in the mind. In the light of calm and steady self-awareness, inner energies wake up and work miracles without any effort on your part. You mean to say, in the questioner, do you mean to say the greatest work is done by not working? Maharaj, exactly. Do understand that you are destined for enlightenment. Cooperate with your destiny. Don't go against it. Don't thwart it. Allow it to fulfill itself. All you have to do is give attention to the obstacles created by the foolish mind. And that's how he had ended this whole conversation. And I found that to be very powerful. And he had talked about this idea that we are destined for enlightenment. That enlightenment is, you will be enlightened. That it will happen. It's just a matter of when, as opposed to if. I like that sentiment. I do like that sentiment, and it's probably true. I mean, that's one of the concepts I will admit. For me, that concept's even kind of hard to wrestle, because I see some beings and people sometimes, and it'd be very easy, become very easy to be like, not that person, not that being. And of course, yeah, in that life right now, of course not, maybe, but that's over time. That's why the reincarnation process, I think, is a huge factor into a lot of these, into this worldview. For sure, for sure. Um, this chapter is particularly kind of short. I mean, all of them are pretty short, but this one felt pretty just shorter, even by that standard. And so much of it is because it starts out with he just said, the questioner is just talking about not feeling well, and then next thing you know, they're getting into like this deep, esoteric question about what is the mind, what is consciousness, which was pretty Nisargadatta Maharaj. That's pretty much how he rolled. Um, that's just how he was as a person. It seems. I mean, obviously I never met the guy, so I can't say for sure. Oh yeah, so let's go back to, for real quick, the universal body versus the like just being, just the personal body. The questioner: even if I accept your doctrine of the universal body as working theory, in what way can I test it, and of what use and of what use is it to me? Maharaj: knowing yourself as the dweller in both the bodies, you will disown nothing. The entire universe will be your concern. Every living thing you will love and help most tenderly and wisely. There will be no clash of interest between you and others. All exploitation will cease absolutely. Your every action will be beneficial. Every movement will be a blessing. I will say, when him just reading that from the Nisargadatta Maharaj, it just feels like that feeling, yeah, because what he's talking about is that feeling of being in the groove. That's at least what I get from it. Like when you're just in the perfect groove and everything's just working perfectly, and it's like feels effortless, and there's just like I just say, a groove, just a rhythm, a melody, a harmony to it all. Everything just, the pieces all fall together perfectly. That's what he's talking about. And that is true. I think if you've ever been in that mind, in that, even just for a moment, you can, I think what he's saying, you can kind of instinctively be like, yeah, kind of makes sense. That all of this whole universe is just an extension of this one body, and that you and I, whoever listens to this, you and I, we're one and the same as well. We are all one. That's ultimately what this is about. In a way, I think, for me, that's how I always think of it. So, I think really on that note, I mean, there wasn't, on that note, yeah. I will say, I will do one more, because I found it very interesting, because earlier in the conversation, the questioner even says this: the very words I and universal are contradictory. One excludes the other. And the Mary Maharaj response to this, I love. They don't. The sense of identity pervades the universal. Search and you shall discover the universal person, who is yourself and infinitely more. Anyhow, begin by realizing that the world is in you, but not you in the world. Questioner: how can it be? I am only a part of the world. How can the whole world be contained in the part, except by reflection, mirror-like? Maharaj: what you say is true. Your personal body is a part in which the whole is wonderfully reflected. But you also have a universal body. You cannot even say that you do not know it, because you see it and experience it all the time. Only you call it the world and are afraid of it. It's powerful, right? It's like this whole thing is your body. This moment, and it explains how these great enlightened gurus can just act with such love and compassion, because for them, it's the same as, caring for yourself. So it's all you. It's your world. You're just living in it. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to end this, and I hope you all have a fantastic day and week, year, month, lifetime. And I hope you all gain whatever it is you need to gain from this life. Namaste, y'all. Till next time. Hare Krishna and peace.